Designers need to change their mindset in AI native thinking. They need to be in a full stack mindset. Even we have stopped using Claude overall. I'll tell you why. Because if you mess in one prompt, if it hallucinates, now you are gone. Basically, I'll tell you why I did not use Lovable and use Replit in the first place. Now this is also a vibe coding tool. Nothing complicated, nothing fancy. You just have to communicate it well, the needs, and it does the job. Builds the backend, builds the database. Designer is capable of shipping the entire thing end to end. So what we discussed, I will give a quick walkthrough of what we discussed last time, and this session is an extension of what we discussed last time. So last time we started with mindset first of all, like how designers need to change their mindset in AI native thinking. Like this is how people used to think. Like designers used to think processes, like how to do user persona, and they had a checklist of things. They just used to do the checklist, follow that process, and they used to come to an outcome. And they used to think about screens, Figma as hands off. Now everything is changing. Designers need to think outcome first. They need to be in a full stack mindset. They don't need to be bounded by a traditional mindset of shipping screens or Figma in this new age. And overall, the skill that matters is system thinking as designers. So we discussed about how can we develop this thinking and mental model as designers and proceed ahead with AI in product design. And after that, we showcased 3 major projects. So I will walk you through what were those, and today we will be discussing one project of those things. So basically the scope was, initially we discussed a project where a designer is capable of shipping the entire thing end to end, like at least the front end, or if the app is a small scale purpose driven dashboard, you can ship it end to end using some tools which includes front end, back end and overall things. So today we will be discussing about this in detail, how to take small scale like purpose driven dashboards end to end, because it does not have a lot of complexity in terms of interaction states, and in terms of design system as well, it is not that complicated, and it is okay to compromise a little bit on the padding spacing aspects, but at the end of the day customer gets satisfied and you deliver the outcomes faster without depending on a lot of stakeholders. And after that we discussed a very complicated project where how we are using AI to build such dashboards which are super complicated in terms of interactions, even in terms of design systems. And we showcased how we are using Figma MCP here at FlytBase, how we are doing the design dev collaboration, how hands-off are changing, how we are making simulators and stuff, and how we are creating documents which are useful for LLMs. Means over time as a product company we develop a lot of context, and it is sometimes in the design team itself. So basically how we are using that context to help LLMs as well as the stakeholders which are separate from the design team. So we discussed this. This was the second project, very complicated dashboard, complicated interactions. This we will be discussing in the next session in detail, but last time I showcased on a high level what the workflow is. And after that we also showcased how to do advanced prototyping. Now this dashboard that you see is made using Lovable. Now if you see other Lovable dashboards that people publish, mostly they make some statistics dashboards or a calculator or a recipe generator dashboard, right? Now how to control AI in such a way that you are able to reach this outcome. And if you see the interaction states of the dashboard, it is super complicated. I think last time I showcased how everything is functional, like end to end, and even in terms of design system, colors, everything is followed precisely. So these were the 3 projects that we discussed. Today, after showing all these things, the feedback that we got from previous session was कि थोड़ा easy बना, मतलब 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स हमने दिखाया, उसके बाद थोड़ा ओवरवेलमिंग हो गए थे लोग कि बहुत सारी चीज़ें थे, बहुत सारे वर्कफ्लोज थे. A lot of people were not able to understand one workflow in detail. So that's what we will be trying in the next sessions. तो आज हम लोग पहला प्रोजेक्ट डिस्कस करेंगे जिसमें the complexity of the app is not too much. Basically as a designer I was able to take it to front end. उसके बाद developers picked it up and built the back end, super easy. And after that the level of complexity was even lesser. So I was able to build it end to end and ship it to the customer. So let's start. So yeah, I will be showcasing 2 dashboards as I told you. This is a dashboard where I shipped the front end, and this is a dashboard where I shipped it end to end. So I will explain you what the dashboards are, so you will understand how complex it is, how easy it is, and what are the states and how it looks overall, so that I can discuss a workflow. And in the end we will have a sort of small vibe coding round. You can close your laptops as of now. Sivanesh will come and we will do the fun vibe coding and then networking and stuff. So right now I will just give an overview of the workflow that we use. I will also like to learn from you guys in the end. How do you found out this workflow, and what are you using right now? So okay, this is our dashboard, like FlytBase dashboard, and everything here is super complicated. Like the layouts, design system needs to be followed. But what we do right now is, if you want to build something smaller, right, and get it end to end, basically what we do is, now this is the feature reports that I created. So basically we don't open it in the same app. We just redirect the user to a new dashboard. Everything is connected to FlytBase, but it is a simple purpose-driven dashboard. Like a single outcome is expected out of this dashboard. So we just open the new URL, and we are able to host it without messing up the existing code, without messing up the existing design language we have, because at least in this project we were not able to crack the end-to-end spacing, padding things. But overall, if you see, the colors and everything is followed. This app is fairly simple. Basically users come here to create reports of all the inspections and wherever they fly the drones. So I will just give a walkthrough. Basically they can choose a date range. Let me take a good date range, and yes, if they do next, we fetch the flight logs and we show all the data that we have, and this data is coming from FlytBase actually. And for this I need a developer cell. Other than that, the front end that you see, all the steppers, even when the report is downloaded, right, everything was built by me, even the template of the report. So all these things, I will show you how I was able to come to this stage where I was able to share a GitHub repo and not a Figma file. Like in the entire workflow, I did not touch the Figma file at all. The only thing that I shared was the GitHub repo, the documents, and the PRD of this, so that the LLM of the developer understands the scope and they are able to build the backend.
कि कितना कोडिंग आता है आपको ये सब बनाने के लिए? अगर GitHub repo share कर रहे हो, you probably know coding.
No, I just know a few things about GitHub, like fairly simple. Even I will explain that.
GitHub होता है.
हाँ, GitHub पे होता है, उसका HTTP लिंक क्लोन कैसे करते हैं उतना ही पता है मुझे.
ठीक है. तो अभी how many designers or people here are able to do something like this, where they are no longer giving Figma files, but they are giving GitHub repos to the developers, to the next person in the chain? How many product designers here product design Figma वगैरह करते हैं, product design करते हैं, right? जो basically it will be good to understand what is it that you guys are currently doing, how are you going about product design, and what is it that you would like to kind of learn in today's session. So that will also help Prathamesh kind of understand what is it that you're looking for.
So basically I need to understand the stage you guys are at, so that I can articulate the next session like that.
हाँ, मतलब अभी वो calibration नहीं हो पाता है because Prathamesh has been doing a lot of things for a long time now, so he assumes that every designer is probably doing that. So it will be good to understand where are you people in your journey and what is it that you are looking forward to discover or learn today. So that will help him tailor his content better.
You guys can just share the high level workflow of what tools you are using.
Some sense of the crowd, like any 4-5 people can volunteer and just speak up. What is it that they do today and what is it that they are looking to learn? Anybody, please.
Earlier we have used some kind of wireframing tool or Figma like that, but with Claude and all, I think we don't need that actually. Sometimes means when I designed the ROI calculator, I just like coding with the Claude and done it fully and coding bit of pain that was.
Claude artifact?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a good one.
Got it.
And then in Lovable now it is maybe half an hour.
So what will be good to learn is not the small utilities, small things that we make here or there. Let's talk about the main business, main product, that whatever we are working on. How much of that is today done using the traditional approaches of creating wireframes or Figma designs, and how much of it you are able to now do using the new techniques. And in case some things are not working, like for example, many people come and say that these techniques are good for small scale prototypes, but when it comes to main production code, these things don't work. So if there are any such issues or concerns in your mind, you can share.
Yeah. So earlier actually we have done full stack product as well, but here we also the wireframing to actual code, it took almost 6 months.
Okay.
So that was the kind of you can say the time we took.
Sorry, from where to where?
Wireframing to code.
Wireframing to product.
And that was before AI.
Before AI. Before AI. Right.
And are you able to now reduce that?
Yeah, we can reduce that definitely.
Have you tried out things?
Yeah, tried out few things. But, yeah, for full stack product, if there are existing product, it will be difficult. If there is a new product, it will be very good.
Thank you.
So I wanted to ask कि instead of using codes and AI, like can't we use no-coded websites because like in Wix, they have their proper CMS management system. So we can create there also, no, without doing coding part.
Okay, I'll answer that. First of all, let's break down the wireframe thing and then the no-code thing. This is also a no-code platform, Lovable. Means similar to no-code, it develops code, even Wix develops code in the back. It is same only, it is just a perception that is no-code. The problem with Wix and Framer and those tools are, those are optimized for website makings. Now whenever you say CMS, right, Wix is like tuned to make websites. Even Lovable to an extent is tuned to make websites, but it has the ability to generate apps. Whenever I prompt it to create an app, Wix won't be able to do it. Like it won't be even able to get closer to that. As a designer, we don't make like silly mistakes, and it is end of the day solving customers' problem. So this is the first dashboard. I will give a walkthrough of what this dashboard does. So basically, it helps customers create report of the incidents wherever the drone flies. It is a very purpose-driven single application dashboard. Like it is not very complicated. Like the AI is not very nested. So initially,
so, please keep raising your hands if you have questions, so that we can make sure that you are following whatever is being discussed. So if you feel lost or if you think Pratmesh has gone too fast, just raise your hand and we can address your questions.
So as I told you, this is our dashboard, right, FlytBase, and we have a lot of applications. Most of the applications we open it in our dashboard. Like, but recently what we do is whenever we want to ship something very smaller, right, a purpose-driven single application dashboard, what we do is we open it in a new tab. Like the reports dashboard is built by me. So I just open it in the new tab so that the existing code does not get messed up or there are no issues and I am not messing the existing functionality. So this is the like small hack that we are following.
So this is basically an approach that we are using so that we can actually leverage AI. So instead of disturbing your main code base, if you can think of architecture where you are creating these modules as separate utilities and linking them together through the main dashboard. So that reduces your risk and it increases your velocity, because now you can quickly ship those functionalities as independent widgets instead of trying to factor everything into your main product. Right, so that way you can isolate things, you can make things independent of each other and increase your shipping velocity. So you can think about your own products and how you can have some such architecture where each module is fairly independent of each other, and you can build one module at a time, which is easier to do with AI because now you need to give only limited context and it has limited scope. So it can be built much faster instead of trying to build something into deeply integrated with your main product.
Okay, so going ahead, this is the dashboard where you can choose a date range. I will just second the thought that Nitin said here. So basically you choose a date range and you get the flight logs of all the flights that you have flown over the past few years, and basically this is connected with the existing FlytBase dashboard. Now I am not capable of doing such integrations where with the existing APIs I am able to fetch and get all this data. So the scope was limited for me that I just have to build the front end, keep the endpoints open. I will share the prompts of how to do those things in Lovable or any other tool that you are using, so that you are able to ship the front end. And it's simple, like you go next and you are able to generate a report with a certain template. This is the first dashboard, and the second is basically a Google Drive. I won't pitch it or try to market it more. It is basically a Google Drive with all the functionality. Now the challenge is Google Drive on a UI level looks very simple, right? It is just folders, images, text, and it is just a collection of some files. We call it folders, right? But from a technical standpoint, it is much more complicated. Like we need to have a backend, we need to have a bucket where all this data is stored. So I am a very noob technical person. I did not have any sense of how all those things are done. I was able to just understand the UX, like this is how it should look and stuff. But in this workflow, I was able to figure out how to think from a developer standpoint. The way he asked, right, how do you think about data? lazy loading, all those things. Whenever you try to upload, how technically it is getting uploaded, how we are doing chunking and stuff. All those things I got to learn in this project, and I will share with you guys. Just to answer, this is how the lazy loading and stuff works, and we can set a limit on after how many files we want the loader to be, how should it get updated real time and stuff. So let's start with the first dashboard where I was able to ship the front end and what was the workflow for. So first thing that we as designers try to reach the first outcome is obviously research, get some clarity in our brains, and after that we have to develop the screens, right, at the end of the day. So first is UI, and without touching Figma, how we can get the UI. So in this project I did not have a product manager as such, so I was supposed to get the PRD out and get the functionality out as soon as possible. Are you guys aware about projects in ChatGPT or Claude? Everybody is aware, right? So I won't go into depth of how we are using projects. It is fairly, I think, basic right now. So using projects, I was able to ship out the PRD. I won't go into much brainstorming on how I did it was because it will become boring. The major thing was chunking those things so that you have the control over AI. Means now whatever prompts that you give to Lovable, if we mess up something, now it becomes a lot of reiterations, and now it started hallucinating, right? So how we control that and how we are able to get the outcome that we want from the first day. So this is basically, I tell the LLM, basically I prefer Claude over all other tools. In the end I will give you a walkthrough of which tool we use for what thing, and we use everything at FlytBase like ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Gemini, but every tool has their specific pros, so I will share that as well. So for this thing where I generate prompts from Claude, I prefer Anthropic models. So basically I brainstorm on it, I go through the chat, we just do the brainstorming session, ask a few Q&A, and at the end I tell it to break the entire project into phases so that it is easier for me to understand, brainstorm. So basically how it works is, assume that a big chunk you divide it into 5 things. Now you are able to pick one thing, brainstorm on it, expand it, take the second thing, expand it. Now you have clarity on all of those things. That is how chunking works in LLMs. And once those things are done, everything is sorted. Now LLM has all the context of what you are thinking, how the product should be, how the customer should be. Even here I upload customer data so that it understands where I am coming from, all the constraints and stuff. And once all those things are done, this is the prompt that I give on a high level. Basically I tell Claude to, okay. Is it visible right now? No? Now? Okay, I will just zoom in more. So basically I ask it to, that we have to design, and I will share the prompt. I ask it to design and develop the dashboard in Lovable. Now the thing is, both of the tools, right? Claude can't write the scope of the entire project at once, and even Lovable won't be able to make it at once. So basically even prompts we have to divide in phases so that it is easy for both the LLMs to divide it and basically think it as of humans, right? We won't be able to think of a lot of stuff at much. So if we divide the scope, it is easier for us. So basically that's what I tell it. Act as a prompt generator for Lovable. The first thing that we have to build is the dashboard. So after that I tell it to divide the entire scope into phases, like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. In phase 1 I want 10 prompts, in phase 2 I want 10 prompts, in phase 3 I want 10 prompts. So it is easier. As soon as it completes phase 1, I prompt just phase 2 and it gives me 10 prompts. Now the challenge is, you don't know after this prompt, right? I tell it to not miss the edge cases, the entire process and stuff. So after this it gives me a list of prompts. The problem is now it needs to get validated, right? And this is just text. As designers we think visual first. So basically try out these prompts as quick as possible into some free version like V0 Bolt. Those tools does not charge you more compared to Lovable. So you can just try it out. You just have to copy paste all the prompts and see if what you want is there. If not, then reiterate, change a few things in the prompt, and at the end of the day you will end up with a list of prompts in a Google Doc which are very solid. You know, if I give that doc to you, you are able to build this dashboard. So basically the major thing is not Lovable or brainstorming in Lovable. The major thing are these prompts. So if I share this prompt to developer, I don't even need to do the UI if these things are grounded as well, but it is not that easy that it looks.
Specification. In a way, that's a specification.
it is a specification about the UI, the interactions and everything. Now as humans we have limited bandwidth in terms of communication, right? We are able to think limited things and there is no structure. Not everybody is good logical thinker. We can't think in a structure that LLMs understand. So LLM can understand another LLM. So it gives a structure where what things need to be implemented first. Even from an architecture standpoint, now I am telling you I am shipping front end, but I don't understand page structures. I don't understand what things need to be built first. Is it the panel? Is it the entire layout? So this tools understand those things better. So I rely on those to give me a series of prompts, and they decide the flow. I don't decide, so it is easier for me to target. And after this, the job is fairly simple. So I prefer Sonnet 4 over Opus 4 because Opus 4 exhausts faster and it is more developer focused. Even we have stopped using Claude overall, like for these things. I will tell you why further. But you have more limits and it is able to think from a user standpoint rather than from a developer standpoint. If you use the same thing with Opus, it will give you technical specifications, databases, what API to use, and some technical structures that you just need a natural language version of your app, not a technical implementation. Yeah, compared to all other tools like Grok, ChatGPT, we have experimented with all. For prompts, Claude is the best that we are able to, and then all these prompts goes to Lovable. Now I'll show you, this is the first prompt. Like even before putting the series of prompts, sorry guys, I pasted this prompt where I need to create a report, and if you check the length of this prompt, right? Wait, let me just. Is it visible? Yeah. So if you check the length of this prompt, basically I am saying what tech stack to use. Now this was made with the help of developers, so that we follow the guidelines that other tech we need to follow, and this has everything. I'll just show the length and I'll then share what the prompt is. It has everything: spacing, padding, what to follow, what colors to follow, and it is an endless. See, this is the first prompt like that I am inserting in Lovable.
This prompt was created by Claude?
No. This prompt is our internal prompt. I will show you. So after this, if you see the outcome, it was fairly good. Like this is what it was able to create, and the best thing is it was able to follow the style and design guidelines that FlytBase as company we follow. And I will show you what the prompt is about. So basically, in this prompt, so it is a prompt for all the LLMs that we use, cursor, use anything. So basically, this prompt has a tech stack that we use. And after that, it has a high level structure of how all the dashboards are going to look. So basically every dashboard will have a top bar with FlytBase logo and stuff. It has the style guide. Now this is simple, anybody can crack this. The thing is, now LLMs don't know what to use where. Now we have a custom style guide where, assume I have primary 500. Now that LLM does not know where to use primary 500. So for that, what we did was we extracted the code of components, and this is the implementation guide, like what is the philosophy, where to use primary colors, where to use secondary colors, where to use hover state, interaction states. And this document, right, it always goes with Lovable in the first prompt. Along with that, we pasted in the project knowledge. See, prompt for FlytBase, design system for Lovable and stuff. So you will notice whenever you tell it to create a series of prompt, it gives the color specification as well. Now over time Lovable will forget the first prompt, right? But Claude won't, because the job is fairly simple. Every time it queries, it will refer to the project knowledge, it will know what to follow where, and in the prompt that we get, we have all the styles, all the design system followed. So it is much more easier. Now this becomes easier when we have an IDE structure. IDE is basically your local V0 or cursor that you use. There things become simpler, but what we noticed was it was not able to shape out good UI compared to Lovable. We have the ability there to follow even the variables that we use. Now the problem with Lovable is, I will tell you honestly, it is looking visually similar, right? But in the code, it is not following the universal variables, like style variables, if you guys understand. So it is not consistent, but for such small things we were okay. But in the second project that I will be showing you in the next thing, there we follow the variables as well, because it is part of our product and we can't mess it up. If tomorrow I have to change the button component, I want it to change all across the dashboard and not just the dashboard what we have made traditionally. So this is the workflow, and after this you just brainstorm on it. With this prompt you are able to reach the outcome what I showed you initially, and along with that I share the GitHub repo to the developers. Now it takes time in Lovable to brainstorm, fix few things, but that's where the mentality of having good prompt structure helps, because if you mess in one prompt, if it hallucinates, now you are gone, means it is back again to go on track. So that's why the initial series of prompts has to be really good. Means I don't prompt anything rather than the series of prompts that I have in my document, because now whatever outcome I get is good. It is not from a UI standpoint. Even from a UI standpoint, you can give a series of 10 prompts manually and it will fix. The UI will look good, but what happens is it duplicates the code. Now the code quality is so bad, like the entire structure is for the code quality, not the UI, to tell you honestly, because I have noticed that whenever I was doing manually changes, replication, it was leaving aside replicated code, some dummy code which was not useful, some simulator code. So it is necessary to have that series of prompts so that you don't iterate more in Lovable and it does not mess up or hallucinate while generating the code, and this front end code can be used by developers directly.
Quick one. So let's say we did all 4-5 prompts. Now we are on the 6th prompt and we feel that there is a need to adjust the 6th prompt. Would it go back and touch the even 5 prompts that have been previously done?
It depends. Now what the 5 prompts are doing is they are writing the code, right? So if the 6th prompt tells the LLM to change something in that code, it will do that. If it is independent of those features or functionality, it won't harm it. But if it is related, then obviously it has to follow what we say. So yeah, this was the first project where as a handoff I shared the GitHub repo, I shared the documents. Documents are the most essential part rather than this UI or front end code, because now it becomes easier for the developer to understand the code base, understand the endpoints, and understand how the backend will work with my front end. So all these data structures also you can get from Claude. It will become a lot technical if I show you right now, but in the upcoming sessions, if you guys are interested, I will show you how to create those data structures, how to understand endpoints. Now in Lovable itself, now Lovable knows all the code, right? You just have to prompt, give me all the technical specification, all the open endpoints, all the API configurations that you have left, so that my developer can use to integrate the backend. And without changing anything, Lovable will give you a document, and that document acts as a source of truth for the backend developer.
Backend developer will also use Lovable?
No. So basically, so mostly they use Claude Code. Even I use Claude Code right now to generate UI and basic stuff. But yeah, they won't be able to build the backend in Lovable. Means initially in this project, the backend developer guy tried to do it with Lovable. Yeah, it is possible. It is just that the environment is not that friendly to change the code, make edits, use a terminal and stuff. The easier thing is it runs on its own, and we don't have to rely on terminal to do npm run command and stuff. But for them that is more preferred, so they extract the code and use Windsurf, Cursor or Claude Code. So yeah, this was the first project. I will dive into the second project where I was able to build the entire app end to end, along with the functionality and the technical specifications. Like for this first project, if you have any questions, please let me know. That's it.
So now you are not using the Lovable, you are using the Claude for the design, right? Because it is easy to...
No, I still use Lovable because the UI that we get, right, is superior in Lovable compared to all other tools. Like on first prompt, I have tried all the tools. Means every tool works differently. I have analyzed those tools, the fundamentals of it, and based on that I have curated the prompts. But still the UI was superior in Lovable compared to other tools, because it is more optimized for websites and landing pages. So it makes beautiful things, and using Claude model, it is able to make it functional as well to the extent that I want.
So you take it to the Claude now. It's like
Afterwards, if I have to build it further or build something more complicated, it was part of the third prototype that I was showing you. And the thing was so complicated that I was not trusting Lovable to do that. So I took it out because the length of the code also increases. For this, the length of the code is not that used, so it is okay that I do it in Lovable. So okay, the second project that I showed you guys, right? This Google Drive. It is just a Google Drive, but it took me almost 4 to 5 days to implement this, like end to end. Traditionally, including designer and developer, it would have taken almost a month because you have to make the front end, make the back end, integrate the S3 bucket so that the storage is went there. So I will explain on a high level how this dashboard functions from a technical as well as UX standpoint. From a UX standpoint, it is very easy to understand. It is just a Google Drive. You upload images or any kind of files. There is no limit in terms of how big of a file you can upload, what kind of a file you can upload, and you can just create folders, delete, edit functionality. You can go inside a collection and see what files you have. The main problem is understanding the tech of it, like how the upload functionality functions, how will it go to the S3 bucket. If you guys don't know what S3 bucket is, it is basically a storage from Amazon, like in simple words, where you can store your data. And basically once you build the front end, right, it needs to talk to that S3 bucket, and for that you need the backend. So in backend you have the database. What is the database? Is basically you have this file, right? Whenever I log in, user ID is created. Now user ID is a part of database. Now whenever I upload a file ID is created. File ID is a part of database. Whenever I click on a file, I get this metadata. What is the size of the file? What is the type of the file? Uploaded by who? And uploaded by what date, right? All those things become part of the database because it is easier for logging, it is easier for debugging, it is easier for making changes, and basically it is a log of all the things, all the types. It is basically a storage. That is why we call it a database. And the functionality, like whenever I delete, it should get deleted from the S3 bucket. Now for this you need to make calls, right? API calls that delete this, add this. This is basically what API is on a high level. This is how the app functions. I will explain the workflow and as designer what we need to ensure, even from a security standpoint and even from a technical standpoint. The UX is fairly simple. The workflow that I showcased you is enough for you to get this, but in this project it was so easy that I did not follow the process that I needed. It was like I created a base level PRD in ChatGPT, did not even use Claude. What I did was I pasted the entire thing. I started with hi, not the big prompt that I had. I pasted the PRD here. The entire PRD, not even chunking, breaking down, a single shot PRD, and I did not tell it to make it in the first go. I told it to analyze the things. Okay, just a minute. PRD मैंने ही बनाया था ChatGPT से. It is like just brainstorming. Basically, you need to have context of the product, what you want, and you don't have to rely on anything. Like if you have the context enough, or get the context from somewhere else, from the stakeholders, you are able to make a PRD yourself rather than relying on product managers. So yeah, after the first PRD prompt, I like inserted the entire PRD, not even like chunking, dividing it, and told Lovable to brainstorm on it and create a plan in phases so that Lovable can then implement it rather than spoon feeding all the prompts, because at the back it is also using Claude. It consumes your tokens in terms of brainstorming. Means I won't suggest you guys to do the brainstorming here, but I had to shape it faster, and this was the easier way where I inserted the entire PRD. Now I have 5 phases where the entire dashboard can be built in just those 5 pages. After that my job was fairly simple. I used to just prompt phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, and I had a structure 80-90% of what I wanted ready just with 6 prompts. And this is the dashboard. I created the front end Lovable because, as I told you, the quality of the UI is good and I was able to iterate faster. Now the problem is I also wanted the functionality, right? It is just UI, just the front end code. It is not functional. There was no storage. I did not understand that if we need a storage or not. I was like, if I upload a document, it should go somewhere, and I just want to see that document in my dashboard. But after a lot of scolding from tech guys, I understood that we needed storage where all this data goes. something holds the data rather than the dashboard, and understood we have a system called S3 where all this data is stored. This is just the skeleton. The main thing is the backend and this. If I change the front end tomorrow, it will still work. I will be still able to showcase the data that I have. So yeah, front end was the easier part. No complication even in terms of I did not do any advanced prompting. The PID was fairly simple, the phases were fairly simple. I just have to implement this. As the dashboard was not that complicated, you don't need a lot of critical thinking in this. So, after that, what I did was I imported the code to GitHub, and then I used Replit. How many of you are aware about Replit? Okay, great. So basically, I'll tell you why I did not use Lovable and use Replit in the first place. So basically, Lovable also allows you to do and store database using Supabase as a database, but the problem is it is not the UI and the entire interaction is not suitable for doing the deployments, doing authentication. You will have to go back to Supabase, put the keys there, and then integrate all of those things. So Replit was more suitable in terms of its agentic structure. It was able to talk to its database on its own. It has its own database, own authentication. So as a designer, it was simpler for me to code. Now this is also a vibe coding tool. Nothing complicated, nothing fancy. You just have to communicate it well, the needs, and it does the job. Builds the backend, builds the database. I will tell there are a lot of challenges in doing that as well, and you need to have a little hint of tech to be able to prompt better. I will showcase you the entire workflow on how to do that. So I will give you a walkthrough of Replit first for the people who have never used Replit. So basically, after the syncing with GitHub, I basically imported the code with GitHub here, and once you import the code, the app starts running. Like this thing I was able to see in Replit. It basically duplicated the code that we had, and the next part was it had to refactor the entire code. It refactored the entire code, understood the context. The problem that she mentioned, right? How do I pass the context? Now I had all the documents ready. I just had a 5-minute chat with Replit, and it had all the context that I had, all the context that Lovable had, because the code was passed. Whatever context Lovable had, Replit also had. And the thing is, whatever context I had was in ChatGPT, the separate context where how the workflow is working. So I just passed it on. And the major thing is, if you are a non-technical guy and don't know anything, and you don't want to take help of a developer, means I'm a very cocky guy and I don't need any assistance. I want to do it on my own. So basically, take help of ChatGPT simply. See, I'm a non-technical and zero development. Wait. Are you guys able to read this? Take assistance from ChatGPT simply. Like, I'm a non-technical guy. Even I did not know I have to use Replit for this application. Like, when I started, it is not that I had all things figured out. I took help from ChatGPT from initial stages, like how do I make the front end. For backend, there were several options. Like, you can do a lot of permutation combinations to get this app working, but what is the best workflow for me with this much knowledge? So you need to figure that out, and I took assistance from ChatGPT to do those things. Even from database standpoint, right? Now I don't know how schemas work and stuff, so I took help from ChatGPT. I will share the prompts of those as well. So this is Replit. Here you see console logs. If you guys don't know what console log, in inspect panel we see console. Basically it logs all the actions that we do. This is preview, similar to how Lovable shows the preview. This is the database. This is the best part, where you have the development database and the production database, everything integrated in the same dashboard. You can see the entire data, how tables are there, collection, file, sessions, what users logged in, who are the users, and what are the access controls of those users. And then you can store secrets. This is the best part, where the main thing that you have to ensure is you can't put this important AWS region, S3 bucket name, IDs into LLM. Means never you can prompt that I have these keys. Means you are then dead. Means anybody can access those keys. Even in Lovable, you can prompt that these are the keys of my S3 bucket and just implement it. It will write it, it will start functioning. But in the inspect panel, I will be able to access your keys and I can start using your S3 bucket. So from a security standpoint, you have to ensure that this thing you have to do manually. Means you can't rely on LLMs to do that automatically. Database it creates automatically, that is safer. But these things you have to ensure that you don't put it in the chat box. And then also supports deployment, like it has two environments, like as Lovable also does that, but this is more easier in terms of deployment because everything is integrated here, and it also has authentication. So this shows the people who have logged in, and you can do Google, GitHub, Twitter SSO along with SSO is also there, and plus you can do email ID password flows as well. Now email ID and password is comparatively a lot simpler compared to this SSO. It looks simpler, but you then have to build a front end. And now the problem is when you deploy the app, now the Replit does not have the access or knowledge of the app which is in production. Now if my authentication fails there is no way that I can communicate Replit that, oh, this is not working. So in vibe coding, what happens is you tell, oh, this is the problem, this is not happening. It will go check the console logs, it will check the network, and it will figure out what to do. But when things go to production, now it does not have any context. I am telling the authentication is not working. It is fixing things in development environment, but not working in production. So I will also provide a hack on how to sort those things out. So on a high level, this is Replit, fairly simple. Everything is similar to Lovable. Like you can do rollback, you can see the changes that are made in the code, and on a high level you have to understand what it is working and how it is working. So even in terms of workflow, I took help from ChatGPT, and the major thing was, as I was brainstorming, I had all the context in ChatGPT about the workflow. Wherever I need assistant or work, I did not know what to do first. Like you do the front end, now you don't know what is the next step. Should I create a database? Should I create an integrated S3? So ChatGPT helped me with that, where I knew that I had to integrate the S3 first, then I had to build a database. Now I did not want to create the database manually because there are a lot of constraints in terms of how you write it. Like username, you can't be capital. I did not know that until I hit the production. So all those things you don't know, so you take help from ChatGPT and tell it all the things. So it gave me a list on what tables you have to make. So basically I did not make it manually, I just copy pasted it, put it in Replit and told Replit to make the database for me. And the best way to check if it is working or not, whenever you add a document, whenever you sign in, a line item will be created here. Whenever I upload a file, a line item will be created here, and that's how you check the database and the integration is working. Even you can check the S3 storage if the file has gone or not. So that's how you check if everything is functional. And another big thing is checking the inspect panel. Means some designers are used to doing this, but just the element box so that we can fine tune the UI, check the padding and stuff. But the main thing is checking the console logs if it shows any error or not. Then checking network if the user authentication is working or not, if anything is not breaching the security. Those are the major things in terms of security and how technically you can go. And while brainstorming, right, the major thing is first chat with the LLM on this is how you want to build it. It will give you a plan, this is what I will be doing. You understand it first, even from a technical standpoint. Now it will say whenever you upload 1000 files, I will upload it. But now you have to critically think, if I am uploading 1000 files, what can be the tech constraints? Now I was able to think that it will be a lot of load when I try to upload 1000 files. Whenever I reload the dashboard, now the dashboard will try to fetch all the 1000 files at once. Now the LLM won't suggest you it on its own, like you have to think those things and just ask it what can be the possible solution for it, will it load or not, whatever doubts I had, and then it gave me the plan that implement infinite loader, implement lazy loading after 50 files, 100 files, and then from a user experience standpoint I was able to tell it, oh, don't load it after 10 files, load it after 100 files and stuff. So another problem that I faced was whenever I used to upload a file, it was not updating the dashboard real time, and I don't know like how it technically happens. So I just prompted that this is the thing, it is not updating real time, I have to manually hard refresh so that I can see the uploaded files. So it gave me 4 or 5 suggestions. Now it is not that blindly you tell it to implement whatever it thinks is the best. You first have to understand on a conceptual level what the tool is going to do, and that's how you make it run. So yeah, after this, doing the user authentication. User authentication is a tough part which I won't be covering today. Like it looks simple. Like you just have to prompt that create an authentication with the tick marked SSOs, but how to do the debugging, how to check the network, if user ID is authenticated or not. And the major thing is why backend is needed is if I am logging, right, if I want to see 4 images and if this guy wants to log in and he wants to see 10 images, how to control that access thing. So you need to understand from that level, and all those things need to be thought through from the initial stages, like who will be accessing the data, if I am uploading, will the next person see it or not. If we are not thinking those things from the start, now it will be a lot tougher in the end to implement this. The problem that I faced was we think very 2D, like as designers, we think about oh screen ban gayi, बहुत अच्छा, functional है बहुत अच्छा, but we don't think about such stuff, edge cases where data किसको दिखेगा, अगर प्रथमेश लॉगिन करता है तो उसको क्या दिखना चाहिए, अगर नितिन लॉगिन करते हैं तो उनको क्या दिखना चाहिए वगैरह, वो सारी चीज़ें स्क्रैच से ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करके रखी तो ईजी पड़ता है. So over time you will understand those technical things and you will be well versed, but yeah.
Access management के लिए तो you might have to give access to also your
For such kind of access management, you might have to give access to, let's say, the enterprise
company,
solution
yeah.
like LDAP, right?
Yes.
So ये भी integration यहाँ पे
So basically if you want to do custom integration, right, जैसे कि Microsoft का हो गया Lambda वगैरह, तो you can do it in Replit. That is the con of Replit, where so basically what you will have to do is you will have to extract the code and you will have to use I forgot the name, some basically authentication thing, and it will be able to do that custom SSO or some other enterprise grade login system.
Okay, so I think this is only taking until the intranet kind of an application. उसके बाद में manual wiring करना पड़ेगा with our legacy application.
You will have to extract the entire thing. So basically अगर ऐसा requirement है कि Google से basically FlytBase just want to access with Google, so we can do that. We'll just give the access to FlytBase.com email IDs. That is possible, but if you want to implement something which is not there in the list, like जैसे कि Microsoft का कुछ ये करना है, नहीं तो custom आपका ही enterprise का कुछ SSO है वगैरह, तो वो Replit में possible नहीं है. You will have to do it via some other tool.
कोई और tool use करते हो या manually फिर programming के लिए?
इसमें तो मैंने नहीं किया, but I don't remember the name, but I know what tool to use so that you can do that. मैं 5-10 मिनट में बताता याद.
You've done it in production. You have pushed it in production.
हाँ, it is in production. This is in production, like wall.flightbase.com. So it is in production. मैं जो दिखा रहा था ना ये files, this is just the development environment where I have my database and files. इसलिए इतना मजाक मस्ती.
Push it through Replit only.
Yeah, you can deploy it through Replit. Basically, you just go and hit deploy, redeploy, and it deploys.
Any other questions?
Okay. Guys, we'll have the Q&A, short 5-10 minutes. Before that, you guys can take the snacks.
Right. So, snacks everything. I think the key learning here is like something that we need to learn or build our mindset is around AI human collaboration. Right. So that's the most important thing. And also experimenting and figuring out what will work. क्योंकि कोई standard protocols या standard playbooks नहीं है. Right. There are no schools, there are no courses, nobody will be able to give you any playbook for these things. So these are things that we discover when we experiment, right? And the mindset has to be of that of collaboration. जैसे जहाँ भी प्रथमेश को नहीं आता था, he leaned on AI कि चलो AI से पूछता हूँ, वो शायद रास्ता बता देगा. And that is why independently he was able to ship something like this, which was almost impossible a few months ago. Possibly नहीं था. Like we would have involved so many people into building and shipping something as complex as this vault that Prathmesh just showed. So in multiple places, he was able to take help from AI, and then he was able to figure out कि कहाँ AI गलती कर सकता है. So where he has to handhold AI so that those mistakes are avoided, right? So he has to use his brain as well as AI's brain in order to build something much more complicated. राइट अकेला AI भी नहीं कर पाएगा. So a lot of people think कि बस अभी तो AI है तो बस मैं उसको prompt दे रहा हूँ, बनना चाहिए, नहीं बन रहा तो ये तो नहीं चल रहा है, राइट. तो अकेला AI के ऊपर if you bank on AI, it will not be able to do it. If you say मैं AI यूज़ नहीं करूँगा, मैं सारा कुछ करूँगा, वो भी it won't work, right. So you have to find the right way of collaboration. You have to find the right way of how to harness the power of both humans and AI together in order to do magical things. Okay? So with that,
You mentioned that production errors, how to handle it.
Yeah. So basically, you will need a little technical understanding. Not a little. Basically क्या करता है कि console log copy कर लिया है, फिर वो replicate को pass कर. Basically the problem is Replit is not able to read कि क्या problem है, क्या logs है. Even in terms of network, अगर अभी ये network है right, मुझे नहीं पता कि name status type क्या है, like क्या fetch कर रहा है वो. तो basically copy paste the entire thing और मैं बोलता हूँ कि ये console logs है, ये network logs है और ये प्रॉब्लम है. हाँ
इसको समझ और बता फिर क्या करना.
हाँ ये समझ और बेसिकली द LLM इज़ नाउ एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज़ द रियल प्रॉब्लम. पर इतना ही समझ होना चाहिए कि कौन से टाइप का प्रॉब्लम मिलेगा किधर. मतलब सब कुछ कंसोल लॉग में हमेशा नहीं मिलेगा. जैसे यूज़र ऑथेंटिकेशन का कुछ है तो यू विल हैव टू समटाइम्स कम टू नेटवर्क और फिर पास करना पड़ता है कंटेक्स्ट. तो वैसे ही चीज़ें हैं बट इट इज़ फेयरली सिंपल. ऐसा नहीं कि कुछ एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी है. यू जस्ट कॉपी पेस्ट एंड टेल इट टू एनालाइज. हाँ
ठीक है. तो आई थिंक लेट्स टेक अ 5-10 मिनट ब्रेक. वी हैव स्नैक्स टी फॉर एवरीवन और ब्रेक के टाइम पर यू कैन आस्क मोर क्वेश्चंस सो दैट प्रथमेश नोज व्हाट एल्स he needs to cover to help you.
Okay. After this, we can have a small vibe coding sort of a session. Matlab, if you have laptops.
You guys can set up your Lovable, Replit, anything, whatever you have seen in this flow, you guys could follow that. For example, if you have a cloud project or a GPT project set up, you guys could start from the base. Like whatever you have seen here, if that is implementable, you have to make that as a very small project. Don't go very large, like build a very complex dashboard because you won't be able to complete it within this session or probably within the day if you guys go through it. So make it brainstorm on a small project and we will help you through the entire process, whether it be from the projects.
I will send it. So basically the problem is a lot of people might not have paid subscription of Lovable, Replit. तो वो 5 प्रॉम्प्ट में एग्जॉस्ट हो जाएगा. तो ये पूरी लिस्ट है, इसमें से यू कैन ट्राई एनीथिंग. लाइक सारे वाइब कोडिंग टूल्स ही है, ये सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट करके वी आर ऑन द कंक्लूजन कि Lovable बेस्ट है. बट हाँ विल जस्ट शेयर दिस डॉक्यूमेंट विथ यू.
It is also a scanner. If you scan it, then just scan this and you will get the list of it.
You can also try out different tools. मतलब कंपल्सरी नहीं कि हम लोग का ही वर्कफ्लो फॉलो करो. We'll also get to learn a lot if you try something else.
So I think that hands-on part is very, very important in order to understand and figure out how these things work and how to use them. So don't shy away from doing hands-on. Like try it out. उसमें काफ़ी लोग hesitate करते हैं कि try करने के लिए, and unless you do that you will not learn. You will not be able to figure out what is working and what is not. क्योंकि थ्योरी तो अपनी जगह पर है, बट वो प्रैक्टिकल करके ही समझ आता है. रियल लर्निंग हैपेंस है.
तो ये सेशन थोड़ा फेयरली बेसिक था इन टर्म्स ऑफ लाइक पहले वाला चंक था वो स्कोप का. इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन विल गो मोर एडवांस. तो अगर ऐसा किसी को लग रहा हो कि बहुत बेसिक है और कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग आप लोग कर रहे हो तो विल ऑल्सो बी हैप्पी टू अंडरस्टैंड कि आप लोग क्या वर्कफ्लो यूज़ कर रहे हो, क्या टूल्स यूज़ कर रहे हो. सो दैट्स इट.
There are also a bunch of free tools here, so if you guys don't have a paid subscription for Lovable or Replit, you guys could use that as an alternative. And whatever courses you are in, you guys could ask us and we just come to your page and we could help you, get through the entire process.
You can or use Google AI Studio, which is like means everybody knows it's free. So and you can build vibe coding apps there as well.
So if you just go to ai@flytbase.com, so we have created a separate portal. Sanish, can you just open that ai@flytbase.com? So what we have done is सारे resources we thought we just put it in one place because they were otherwise scrambled in different places. So ai@flytbase.com पे अगर आप जाते हो so you will see everything. So we have the links to join the community. So we have a WhatsApp community. You can join the WhatsApp community here. There is a YouTube channel with all the recordings. And
so you once you go there, go to your
so you can see all the Thursday sessions are available here from last 4-5 months. तो बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स के ऊपर हो चुके हैं. We will continue doing them anyway. So हर वीक कर रहे हैं, ये तो ऑलरेडी स्केड्यूल में है. We don't have the recordings for the Saturday sessions yet. We have actually the recordings, we have not made them available on YouTube yet. So Aryan is working on that, we will get those available soon. So kindly Saturday sessions are there. And we have a bunch of other material as well, so we should just browse through it. So somebody was asking me about AI native fellowships. So this is a program that we launched last week. So basically the purpose of this program was there are a lot of professionals today, people who are very good at business development, who are very good at product design or very good at different areas, but they haven't had the opportunity to rewire themselves with AI. So they are still not using AI, but if you leave AI aside, they are very good at what they do. So these fellowships are meant for those people so that they get an opportunity to rewire themselves. So this is a 3-month full-time program, especially for people who are experienced, people who have worked in the industry for 4+ years, so 4 years to 15 years, anything in between. So people who are already experts in either coding or business development or design or anything like that, they can apply for this program. It's a 3-month full-time program where the expectation is that you leave your job, you come and join. Think of it like an MBA program. So when you join MBA, you leave your job and you join an MBA program or you join your master's program. So think of that. But because of AI, we are able to compress time. So instead of taking 2 years in doing your MBA or master's, you are now able to do your entire master's level program in just 3 months. Right? Because the whole idea with AI is how can we do things at AI speed? How can we do things way faster, at least 10x faster than what we used to do before AI? So we don't think it should take 2 years to do masters anymore. You should be able to do it in 3 months. And that's the whole idea of this program, that join this program as a full-time person. These are fellowships where you also get compensated. It's not like MBA में तो देना पड़ता है पैसा, यहाँ पैसा मिलता है. So think of it like an internship or like a fellowship where you get paid while you do this 3-month program. And after 3-month program, you can either apply for a full-time role at FlytBase or you can decide to go elsewhere. So you have full freedom as to what you want to do after 3 months. But those 3 months, you will be put to work with a team where you get to engage with AI on a daily basis. And the way you think, the way you approach solving problems, all that gets rewired. Because when you aggressively engage with AI, when you continuously think of ways of using AI, that is when you learn how to actually use it and how to actually become 10x more productive with AI. So this is a program that gives an opportunity for people to rewire themselves, transform their working style so that they can remain relevant going forward. Because with AI, every job is changing.
Then you have to be in the office for
Yes. It's a full-time program. Like again, think of it like a master's program, that level of a program where it's an intensive full-time program. You are here, you are actually participating in our everyday work. You're getting paid for that duration for 3 months. And then after 3 months, you decide whether you want to apply for a full-time role at FlytBase or elsewhere. Yes. This is for experienced candidates, yes. So for freshers, we have a regular internship program, other things. You can go to life@flytbase.com and you can apply there. This particular program is for experienced candidates because they are at most risk. People who are experienced are at most risk because they have a harder job to do to unlearn and then relearn. Freshers are safer because they anyway don't know anything, so they can as well learn in an AI native manner. So it's easier. But to unlearn is a lot harder. And that is why this program is specifically designed for those experienced people to help them unlearn and relearn new ways of solving problems. Right? So that's that. You will see all the videos, everything here, anything else on this page. We also have a bunch of blogs. So these blogs are basically summaries of whatever was discussed in those Thursday sessions in a shorter condensed form if you want to learn the key takeaways, key lessons from those sessions. Right, so this one is, we did a session around product design, so this is a blog on the product design, so a lot of interesting blogs there. We also have some handbooks, so these are some books that we wrote collecting all our lessons on how to think around AI. So these are available for free, you can download, you can read them. There are all other blogs. We are also planning to release a bunch of tools. There is one that we have released. This is one of our interns had built this Figma plugin so that whatever you build with Lovable, etc. can be brought to Figma and make it work in your design system. So make it comply with your design system. So you can try out this plugin. So we have released this in open source. We have plans to release many other such utilities that our team has developed in order to streamline our work. So we will be releasing them in open source as well. Anybody is free to try those out or use them. Right? So this is your go-to portal for everything that we are doing, and you may join the WhatsApp community if you want to keep getting updates on various sessions that we do. Okay, with that I go to Signesh.
Yeah. Yes, guys, so as you guys have already set up your Lovable, Replit and Claude or GPT projects, right? So as you set it up, please just brainstorm what kind of project you can build very in a small scale that you can build within the session, or even we could spend some more time because it might take more time for the Replit thing as well. So we could go for that small scale application that you are building. We could see whether we could build it there itself. Like so. Whatever it is, you guys could ask us in the process, whether it be the brainstorming with Claude or ChatGPT, how you need to build those sequential prompts that you can give to them Lovable, and then from Lovable, how do you put it to GitHub and then to Replit. So this entire process we'll be doing. Now just brainstorm on the project that you guys want to do. It should be very small scale. Don't try to build a very complex dashboard, because then it will also not be done within today. So you guys start ideating on it, and if you guys have any doubts, ask us. We will assist you guys together with this within the session.